Good afternoon. Today is Monday, July 23rd, 2018. It is 1:03 p.m. We're here for the regular trustee meeting. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We have an agenda before us. Are there any additions or modifications? Nope.
Hearing no additions or modifications, I would recommend that the agenda be approved as written.
Second.
Ms. Wallace?
Yes.
Mr. Roberts?
Yes.
Mr. Kretz?
Yes.
Make a motion to accept general ledger report in the amount of $330,336.68 for the July 18, 2018 payroll.
Second.
Mr. Roberts?
Yes.
Ms. Wallace?
Yes.
Mr. Kretz?
Yes.
Thank you.
I make a motion to accept the payment listing report in the amount of $506,524.76 for payments through July 18th of 2018.
I will second that with a question. That's significantly more than normal.
That's correct. That is for the paving. We paid that, so.
Our portion.
Our portion, well, we paid it all. We will recover some of Xenia Townships. We've invoiced for that, and I believe the total amount was $466,000. So the most significant portion of that is for the paving projects.
How much of that are we gonna, or do we see to get back?
I would let Mr. Parks address that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We should be receiving back from Greene County Sanitary approximately $196,000, which is our portion and Xenia Township's portion. And then currently we should be receiving about between $13,000 and $14,000 for Xenia Township, their portion, which also includes striping. So.
Great. Just so we know. Thank you. Thank you for that explanation.
Thank you.
Just so you know, there will be another bill from John R. Jurgensen because we still have one plat left to do. So we're way under budget at this point.
Great. Thank you. Call.
Deborah Wallace, or Ms. Wallace?
Yes.
Mr. Roberts?
Yes.
Mr. Kretz?
Yes.
Thank you.
And did you have any minutes for us to approve?
There have been no minutes submitted.
Okay. We had, Ms. Aaron circulated minutes from the special meeting held March 15th, but then they were circulated to us. They appear to be accurate and reflective of that meeting, but we weren't provided those minutes to sign off on at the last meeting.
She pulled them back saying there were drafts that they should not have been on the agenda.
Okay. Okay.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
So we're only up to March. When will we be up to speed on the months that, as of June?
I believe most of the minutes have been recorded and typed up. They're with Ms. Aarons to review.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
So they're in draft form.
Yes.
Okay. At this time, we have a pre-scheduled speaker from Rhino Shield. And Alex, if you want to introduce and if you want to step up to the podium.
Thank you,
we can proceed.
Board. We are here to pick the final color for the library. We do have library staff here as well. So we do have the paint sample or the samples to take a look at from Rhino Shield, the actual samples they have, to compare the colors that the board is interested in putting on the building.
Okay.
Alright, so color can be really tricky. The only thing I want to warn you about is that a color that traditionally looks good
in a smaller space, because the scale of this building, you have to be very cautious. And also, yeah.
Can you introduce yourself? for
Oh,
the
I
record,
apologize. Yes, I'm Nia Giso with Rhino Shield. I'm the person who is representing the company for the contract. Okay. So the scale of the building is going to affect how the color is perceived, because this isn't a residential home. Okay. So, and then we have some limitations because obviously we're not doing the trim of the windows. That metal color is a deep brown. So I think you have a couple of limitations right there. Now, we did originally look at some of the colors that were suggested, and even though they are great colors, we think on a building that's this large, given the trim color and the stucco color that we're gonna match, it didn't contrast in the right value, okay? But, and now I'm looking at these for the first time, the ones that I guess are starred, that are colors that people like. I don't know if you had the Mojave with you, because Mojave is the given. That's the one that we're keeping, and there are some colors here that match Mojave or are slightly off from Mojave. So I don't think you want your walls to clash with Mojave. There is one color here that there's a star, but it's in a totally different direction, which is the blue. That actually goes. So if you guys like that blue, I can take a moment to try to find one that matches, and that would be an option. But I do want to share with you how traditionally you would choose a color. Given the limitations of the windows and the stucco, where we know it's Mojave, traditionally walls will be either lighter or darker if you're trying to trim light gold dark walls, or if, and that's the case that you have, you're given that circumstance. Your trim of your windows is dark, but another option would be to stick to the stick. So Mojave is here, and traditionally if you want a good contrast, you would go at least 2 down in the family, and then you know you're not gonna clash. So there's an option as well. I don't know.
Why don't we show the Mojave? Come on up to the.
We haven't seen the Mojave yet.
Oh, okay, great.
The
Okay.
Mojave was on the printouts of the building, so.
Right.
Just start right there? Okay, so Mojave is this
Is that
one.
that top trim?
This is the top trim, it's gonna be your stucco, and it matches your gutters.
Yeah, that's
your-
nice.
Okay, so that's that. Now, your trim windows are about this dark. Okay? So again, they're in the right family. So what I would recommend is your walls there. Now, the colors that we were trying to be a little bit adventurous with were Cortez and maple syrup, which here they don't look bad, right? But on a big building, this building's gonna become very peachy.
Well, and we didn't want it too dark, because the whole focus was to have it a lighter color to not
Yeah.
pull in the heat.
Okay, so if this is Mojave, I just feel like if you go walls this color is too close. That's why they
Sure.
always recommend 2. Because if not, it looks like you missed versus you were trying to match and
No, you need the
missed.
contrast.
Right, but let me show you that blue that you all picked. I think this would actually work. If you hold Mojave up against this blue,
It does, yeah.
it looks great. But again, this is gonna be a
Kinda
shocking difference.
Yeah.
And I don't know if
If you've
that's
got
a
this
city
color already on
building.
the, yeah, if you've,
It will look great. I actually did check that. So here's 140. Okay, so this color is this color. So these would be your 3 colors. Your trim up above, your windows, and your walls. Now, I mean, it's a contrast. It's a little shocking.
We wanted to
Or you
have
stay
shot.
monochromatic. You can either go monochromatic or you can go contrasting.
Well, I personally wanted something dramatically different
Different.
than what the red brick is, so that people in this community will notice a change
Okay,
and say, whoa, what happened to the library?
good.
yeah.
Boom.
That,
Like
yeah,
almost like
that
rebranding.
color, yeah, that color scheme follows a contemporary scheme, so that's, I have no problem with that at all. So
You're okay with the blue, and because I think it looks great.
I have no issue with it, so.
I'm
Okay.
just wondering, my concern, I don't have that much issue on the blue, but as far as pulling in, absorbing heat.
Heat.
You know, we had talked
Well,
about,
Yeah, it's,
Yeah.
I mean, compared to a reflectivity of something like this, it's
Well,
gonna be,
it's
it's not.
gonna be better
it's
than
gonna be better
that.
than
Yeah.
that.
I mean, and I really think that your brick is like a brown brick almost that you currently have.
like a reddish brown,
Yeah, it's a ruddy red, you know?
ruddy red.
So, but the good news is with Rhino Shield too, the walls will run cooler because they've got ceramics in them. But, I mean, that is going to be a shocking difference.
What's another choice?
Okay. So, do you wanna say monochromatic or do you wanna switch over?
I'd go with some accent color.
So now that you know it's this,
Can we mark those?
no,
Oh.
sorry, for $100, my company will kill me. But yeah, let me just see if you like any of these blues that maybe aren't as deep.
That looks too gray to me.
Yeah, but this might be really shocking blue.
Mhm.
Well, I wanna see this in here,
Okay.
that same color in your
So
swatches.
so if you go.
Which one is it?
It's that one right there.
This one here.
So if you go
So
the
it's
one
in-
below it, what happens?
Let's see, Mojave. So where's the match? There's the match.
Right.
There's is the lighter. Okay, so lighter.
Yeah, it might be a little softer tone.
What do you think?
It's up to the three of them.
Because this is your window trim color, isn't that correct?
I theoretically already submitted my choices.
I did too, she just.
I know. So,
Well, the
what do you
colors that
think,
are in
Mr.
here
Roberts?
clash
Maybe you should
with
have
the
brought your
Mojave,
daughters.
so you didn't have the Mojave
So-
Yeah, well,
evidently.
we've been,
I mean, do you really want to change it to a blue building? I just wanna make sure you're okay with
That's
that,
all right, probably.
cause it's going to be,
Yeah, do you have a,
I
do
mean,
you have the software
what
that
did
can put the
I
colors
wanna
on the
see what
picture
the
and
library
throw it up
staff
on the wall?
picked.
yeah, the colors you picked were what?
Well, they were ones that you already said wouldn't work.
Yeah, cause
Oh.
they
They
would
were a
fade.
little poppy,
Yeah,
I
we
think
haven't looked at
they were
them.
very
Alright,
pop oriented, and I
Alright.
don't know that you wanna.
Alright,
yeah.
that's alright,
Yeah.
I just thought maybe,
But it was more of a brick color.
More of a brick.
oh, we
Or
don't want
trying
brick,
to-
Yeah.
we
Right.
wanna show.
What about, would the Mojave match with that one on the bottom left of that paper? That green?
The green.
Here, that's a nice color.
Yeah, I do like that color
I
a
mean,
lot.
I think,
See,
Yeah,
that
it's a
looks
little
great.
softer.
I thought the green, I've always
I
thought a
really
green would
like
lay a
that,
little
and
And
now
it is
let's
Green
look
County.
at the color of the trim of the
Cause
windows.
you got a lot of trees.
144. Here we go.
It's far easier to buy a fire truck.
Isn't it?
They're all red.
All red. Okay, so these are your, this is
If
your
only
window.
it was cheaper.
Tim,
At least in
can you
this
confirm
town.
me The window trim is about that, right? It's that dark?
That's about that.
It is. Okay.
That's the
Okay.
green we're talking
So
about.
this is the stucco, this is the wall proposal,
I-
and then this is
I
the
like
window.
that.
That's nice.
That is phenomenal.
See, I like the
Can we
green,
all go with
I like
that?
the green
Yes.
better than the.
I'll-
Okay, now
I'll
hold
go
on,
with
now
that.
I gotta find that green in here. So let's hope I can find.
You like that? You
That's
guys like that?
sage.
Yeah,
I do.
We do want we want
no, it's not
a
that one.
statement.
It's not that. It's
No.
not
It's a
that.
yellow based.
This is a Sherwin-Williams book. They can
Right,
probably,
that's, we
depending-
can't match it perfectly, but
Okay.
we can get there. I think I have to just go to another page. It's definitely a sage. Okay, so let's go to greens in here. Nope. Here we go. Deeper.
No, it's not a, it's more gray than that. There, you're getting to the right one there.
Yeah, it looks like this.
It's closer. Or one of those might work too.
That's too poppy. That's
The next one
not
up.
It's almost like it's got a little more brown
It's got
in
more
it.
gray or brown to it.
it. Okay, hold on. Trying. Really?
You're getting,
That's it.
you're getting closer. Alex, should we take a little recess just for the tape, or
Yeah, we can.
we'll take a 5-minute recess?
Sorry, I'm trying,
You're
people.
fine.
It's not easy.
You in agreement?
Here, I
Yeah,
think
so
Okay.
moved.
I think you,
We gotta be careful you don't deliberate.
Well, then we can remain.
Remain.
We'll stay open session then.
Turn it back on.
I think
That one's very close, the top, the second one down there.
that's what I think.
It's a little more,
You just need to move your
It's a little
fingers on
deeper.
it.
Tom,
It's a
slide
little
that.
deeper.
yeah, it's not the same.
So here's Mojave. Let's get it going this way. So we got Mojave, we got that. And
It's
Mm,
different color. Keep,
see, you see it's got
It's
brown.
got browns in
It's
it.
got brown in it.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I like that green. It's got some brown in it.
That's that blue.
no.
what am I trying, I'm trying
So
to
it'll
match
be a
that, right?
change, but it won't be such a shocking change.
Right.
It'll be a change. It'll stand out, but then it'll still semi-blend.
Yep.
I think
Yeah.
You're going the wrong direction
It'll match
there.
the trees. It'll
Yeah.
match the bark. I mean,
Cause there are a lot of.
Yeah, that's good.
that's not bad. That's good, right? That's real
That's
close.
pretty good.
Yeah.
Hold on, if I do the next one down, it's too dark. gonna
not
be
the
that
same, but
one.
it's close.
Yeah, that's pretty good though.
Just put it up there with these and see what it looks like.
Okay, so hold on, let me move these out of the way. So we've got Mojave, and which one did we say?
The third one or the fourth one? Third one down.
Third one down.
Yeah, that's too dark,
Okay.
that's probably it, okay.
Yeah, but if we move
Here's
this out of the
Mojave,
way, stop
yeah.
looking at that and
So
look
here's
at these.
Mojave, and hold on, I can pull out page 144, so it's 101, 144. 143, 144, okay. So, this is your window color right here on Mojave. I don't know if you can see that.
Yep.
And then it would be, there's Mojave, window, and the third one down. So those are your three colors. What are you thinking? This is your window, by the way.
I still like the other
I
one
like it, I
better.
think it needs a splash of brown in it.
Yeah, I like the other
Yeah.
green better.
I mean, we can match it. It's only like $400 for the whole entire job. $400 more and you'll get the match.
What color code do you need? Because can't you just take that into a?
No, see, these are latex colors. They're Pantone. We don't use Pantone with ceramics. It's a totally different color scheme.
I think we need to find a color in here that we like,
Let me
instead of trying to
try.
spend an extra $400.
Well, and also too, I mean, you might be able to call
It's a very
Sherwin-Williams,
small-
and Sherwin-Williams might be able to.
That's what I'm asking, if there's a,
They might be able to tell you what the
No.
match is.
I think it's this is the closest.
This is pretty
You
dang
don't like
close,
that?
people. You're
Just
right, it has a smidge more mute
It's
to
more-
it.
yeah,
There's
it's
a
just more
little more green.
Yeah.
And I do
Let's see
agree
just
that
for
it
a
might
second.
make a difference.
There, we'll mark that.
It's page 101, and what's it
Oh,
called?
there you go.
101 burnished green. Yeah.
clip on it.
Take this out, I guess. Well, I guess he wants to try
Well, you
that.
kinda wanna match.
What's these? Are these the
Yeah,
same?
they're the same,
Where's
yeah.
your browns at?
See, you got modern browns, you got old browns.
What's that one, Tom? There you go.
This is the right family.
I think we're on the same page. 147, is that the page? Does that say? 147.
Yeah, we're on the same, that's
We're
the
on the same
family.
page. We both picked the same color.
Compared to this is
Which one is this
a little
called?
limey.
Yeah, you're right.
It-
This one here?
Yeah, I think
Or
this
that one?
third one or the fourth one down.
Third one.
Yeah, whichever
Yeah.
one.
I like the third, but you can do the fourth.
Yep, I'd go a little bit more contrast.
I'd go to the third.
This one right here.
Okay, now hold on, let's get the other colors out with Mojave. So,
Let's-
You've
What's-
got Mojave over there.
got Mojave over here.
Alright, so eliminate this.
So, Mojave,
Third one down.
where's
Or down
Mojave?
right here. Yeah, that's a good,
So that looks
That's a
good
good
now, and then the dark is deep.
the dark is
Yeah.
dark.
The question is that look back with the dark?
No, it's 'cause
It
has
shouldn't because it got
spots
brown in
on
it, it should be an
It's a brown.
accentuated
Yeah.
color.
It's a brown gray.
And I gotta be honest with you, it's okay, but, yeah, that'll pass, it'll pass.
This one right here, not
Mhm.
this one.
What's the
third
name of
one.
that one?
Yeah, hold on though, I wanna just see this one. Yeah, this is the one, the third one. So the third one is called Shady, sorry, how many glasses, where'd they go?
Shady, it's upside down. No,
Shady Knoll.
Shady Knoll, page 147, can I just steal this real fast?
There's
I got this right here.
So what we're talking about is,
Shady
there
Knoll,
you go.
page 147, you didn't just fold it, did you?
no, not completely.
Like Mojave. Yeah, yeah, it looks good. 140.
So these three, it's Mojave, this green, and this brown. Mr. Roberts? would you like
Yeah,
to
no,
display?
I,
good with
anything
that?
close
I'm
to
happy
that
with
green.
Okay,
Shady
Anything close to
Knoll,
that green.
I like that better than the
Mojave.
blue.
yeah,
and,
and no, see, that's not folded.
right, yeah, I gotcha, sure.
So
He's an
Shady
iron.
Knoll,
Price
147.
just went up on it.
Shady Knoll,
Page
147,
147.
and Mojave is 144.
Yep,
And, just so you know, there will be a day that they'll put the samples on the building,
okay,
and everyone can go drive by and look at it, but then you forever hold your peace.
sure.
Alright.
Put on a
Okay.
side, put on a side that gets sun.
Son, that's what I.
I would just be curious, there's gotta be a way for the computer
Yeah.
to say, what is our match to
Yeah, there isn't. We've gone
Well,
through this.
why
with
the
many
computer,
people.
I would say, I'm curious to see if it zeroes in on that
Oh, I
color.
got you.
You know what I mean?
Yep. For the
Okay.
record, Mr. Roberts picked that green, so.
He's
Oh.
owning it. He's
Oh,
owning it.
no, I like
Hold on,
it
took
too.
down.
I liked it
apologize.
better than the blue.
Yeah, the blue would have been too shocking.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so
I
we are
will-
good with Shady Knoll. We will get a 4x4.
Is
We
that
back
all?
on record?
Yeah, we're still on record. 'cause
Okay.
we were deliberating.
You'll get a what, a what?
So after all that, all we picked was Shady Knoll.
Yeah.
We already have Mojave and we're
Right,
gonna
we're
have
stuck with Mojave because that's what your
Got it.
trim is. That
And
we're
what's
not
the other
changing.
color?
It's just the window color.
It's not
frame,
changing.
It's
Oh.
a dark brown. Yeah.
That's just,
We're not painting it. It's just we're trying
just
to
the
make
close
sure
to the
everything
dark brown.
didn't clash. That's all.
Okay,
got it.
Okay.
very good.
All right. Well,
Thank
I
you
thank
for-
you for your time, and I'm gonna leave you these. I'm going to take that green one if that's okay.
Sure, Mr. Parks has
Mr.
that.
Parks has it in the back.
Okay. And then these, I don't know where they belong to.
That's
Alex.
Mr. Parks, yeah, we don't.
Well, it should be in there. You should have,
Library is okay with the colors? Okay,
It's already marked this one.
great.
Perfect. Awesome.
Thank you for your
It'll be something
contribution.
different.
I think it's good. I think it's gonna be great. Did you grow up with it? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. Thank you. And when the sample goes up, I'll make sure that Tim knows, he notifies all of
Yep,
you, and
perfect.
we'll go from there. Okay.
Thank
you
you.
for your
Thank you.
time.
Thanks a lot.
Bye-bye.
Anything else regarding Rhino Shield?
Nope, that's it.
Okay, all right. At this time, we thank you for helping us. So we appreciate the guidance. This time we open up the podium to any citizens desiring to speak. Seeing none, we'll move on. We have no old business. We have no new business. We're on to the administrator and the sheriff's office report.
Thank you, Board. We have two reports for you, the biweekly report as well as the monthly report. Biweekly report is on page 4 through 16, and the monthly report is on page 17 through 27. Are there any questions?
I had none. I appreciate the report.
I do too. I don't have any questions.
also me as well. I'm good.
Thank you, Board. Next item is the part-time clerk position. Ms. Gustafson and Mr. Amrine conducted interviews. We are recommending to hire a part-time clerk, Robin Hunter. I have a resolution here prepared for you.
Is this this is a not to exceed 1,500 hour position? Okay.
Seeing no other questions, I'll offer the following resolution for approval. Whereas Board of Trustees, Beavercreek Township, Greene County, State of Ohio, move to approve the hiring of Robin Hunter as a part-time clerk in Beavercreek Township Zoning Department per pending the successful completion of Beavercreek Township's pre-employment process. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Trustees, Beavercreek Township, Greene County, Ohio, favorably pass the resolution. Further be it resolved that all formal actions of the Board of Trustees concerning and relating to the adoption of this resolution are being adopted at a duly called and authorized open meeting of the Board of Trustees on the date set forth above, such meeting being duly called and pursuant to and in compliance with all legal requirements, including section 121.22 of the Ohio Revised Code.
Second.
Mr. Roberts?
Yes.
Ms. Wallace?
Yes.
Mr. Krebs?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Board.
Thank you for your help on that.
Sure.
Next item
Hopefully,
is on. Oh,
hopefully they work out and the department gets the relief you need, so.
Thank you, Board. Next item is on page 30, is recommendations to change the employee evaluation. All the changes are marked in color. Are there any questions?
Why?
Well, you know, I wrote it, I worked with John Marks on it, and I felt that at the time that the descriptions were enough to lead the officers in conducting the evaluations, but after getting feedback, they just needed it to be a little more comprehensive. So I went through and just added a little more to try to help guide them. We've gone through the meetings and everyone seems comfortable with the new language. So hopefully this will aid them in conducting the evaluations and determining. They were having difficulty going from a 3 to a 4 to a 5. So these seem to be, I hope, a little clearer. and, again, we'll help guide them once they sit down with their employees.
The only concern I had was, and I had to read it a few times before I became more comfortable with it, but was, I think it's very important to do an annual review, number one. And when you can get lost in this a little bit, in that the first 2 times I read it, I had the impression that it became optional whether we did an annual review or not, at the supervisor's discretion.
Oh, no, that was just for the timing of it. So that it changed from having to do it on the anniversary date to allowing the officers, based off of the training calendar, to conduct them as long as they're done within the calendar year. Especially when you think of the new hires, when we hired those 9 people, if, 4 or 5 of them are on, the same platoon, that could be very difficult on the captains and the lieutenants if they have, an exhaustive training calendar that particular week. So I just wanted to give them the freedom to pick, the week before or the week after, rather than having to do it on the exact anniversary date. So they all know that they are to be conducted, and it says in there within the year. It's just that,
Yeah,
they need some level of flexibility.
Right, and I can understand having, normally you would say it's within a 30-day or 60-day window of their anniversary date. The way I read this, and I'm not trying to pick it,
Yeah.
is that it's completed annually on the discretion of the supervisor. That's what it said, based on the discretion of the supervisor, and coordinated with the HR manager. If I read that and I want to postpone one, I can postpone one till the 365th day of the year. I'm not saying they will,
Right.
but I think it's important people are, just historical reference I've had from other dealings in life is that it's important to keep those on track. It's important that they get done and that they get done timely. And I understand not being able to do it on the anniversary date, but
Right.
within a 30 or 60-day window, I think would be better than on the discretion of the supervisor.
Well, I'll give you an example. Based off of their calendar, Tim did his all in January. He got them all done because he had the time, and then we had all that
Sure.
snowfall. So he wouldn't have been able to do it we had 3 months of very bad weather.
Right, and I think though, but from here forward, you'll probably always do them every January, so they'll be within a year of when they were last reviewed. I think within a year of when they were last reviewed is more important than their anniversary date. It typically times that way if you start that way, but if there's a lapse, then I understand his seasonality to it. And I'm not trying to argue, I'm just pointing out, sometimes it's my job to find loopholes, and I find them.
Well, I can draft it however you want, but
And
because the
the
departments
first
have different
question
needs.
was why, and then you answered that, and then the spirit of what you changed it to.
Right.
And my question only is, are we leaving a gap where we could have an individual not get reviewed for 2 years or more because it's on the supervisor's discretion? And that could lead to other problems if we have a problem and we don't have documentation of it. So I'm just asking. So it's open discussion. I'm not.
You could easily just tie that up with the evaluation process will be completed annually with said evaluation to occur within 30 days from anniversary date at the discretion or something similar. That could.
Or 90 days.
Yeah.
Just something to tie it down.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
On what staff looked at the last time is anniversary dates are very difficult with the road department schedule and the fire department schedule. So
What if you said within 90 days from 1 year of their last review?
that we could change that to.
Forget the anniversary date.
Forget
'cause-
the anniversary and just say we can say within, or 60 to 90 days within their last evaluation.
Yeah, and I would just go with the rather than put a range, if it's 60 to 90, it's 90.
That's fine. And we could say 60. Yeah, that still gives,
Whatever it is to give
2
them the
months to get on
flexibility.
the schedule.
I'd say 90 but that's,
I have no problem with 90.
Yeah.
So just
I just want to give them, because again, let's look at this past winter. If Tim
Important.
planned to do them in January,
Right.
he has 3 months of inclement weather, he's not going to meet that deadline.
Right,
So,
understand.
okay.
I wanted to state that I thought you did a good job of putting this all together.
Oh, thank you.
I went through everything. The only issue that I had is in number 5, the outstanding. I think somebody can be outstanding and not be a leader. I think they could be a great team player and be outstanding. and the first sentence is and/or supervisors as a future leader for strong leadership qualities. I'd like to have that like or, because I think if somebody does a great job, but he or she doesn't show leadership potential, it doesn't mean that they can't be outstanding.
Or
And
want,
that-
or
oh,
want
I-
leadership. Some
Yeah,
people
I
just
read
don't
that
want
as
it.
more lead
Yeah,
by, it
some
can
people don't
also
wanna be a
lead
leader.
by example.
Correct.
Yeah.
The way I read it is it encompassed
Well-
also leading by example.
Yeah, but it kinda, I'm just looking at a supervisor reading it so the person would get a 4 because he exceeds expectations, but he's not in that leadership quality role, so that's why they wouldn't get a 5.
But doesn't 4 also have, Lori, could you go, please? I think 4 also demonstrates leadership or,
Yeah, it's page
36.
36.
Mm-hmm.
I just would like to have a little bit of a flex in there that if a person is not a leadership potential, they still can get an outstanding. And and it's not clear in there. I think it ties you into, okay, they have strong leadership qualities. I like the fact that you put in, let me see, contributing to the objectives of the department. I like that part. I think that's very good because that looks like the overall focus, which is, I think, important. But I would just like to have you twerk it about, has previously and continues to demonstrate leadership skills. Those two, section 5 and 4, I just don't, I think I like it in there, but I'd like to have an or, so that
okay,
if somebody doesn't
that's easy enough.
want to be a leader, but they're doing a great job and they exceed expectations or outstanding, they should be able to get a 4 or 5 without,
Well, it can also just be and/or supervisors as a future leader has strong leadership qualities or demonstrates the ability to lead by example.
yeah.
Is that fine?
Mhm.
Or
Put an
demonstrates,
in both 5 and 4.
That changes the tone, yeah,
Okay.
with the or.
okay, so we're gonna add
demonstrates the
or
ability to
leads
lead
by example, okay?
Yeah, and the same thing is in section 4. Because the part about, what I would be, results are very good with significant contribution to the objectives of the department. I think that's excellent.
Okay,
And again, I thought what you did was excellent because what you created was a path. You created not really a checkbox, but
Definitions.
theoretically a roadmap.
goals,
Goals for them, this is what we want to look for. And then if there's any questions they have, one sentence or the other, they can then ping that back off you for clarification on that. So
Yeah, what it does, at least in my mind, is it gives the individual or the group, whatever it is, that's giving the evaluation, it gives you a sort of a checklist to keep you focused so rather than get enamored with an individual that you like working with, you can actually have something to go back and test it against.
Right,
So
reflect the past year,
You can
right.
test,
it's not just a checklist for the evaluator, it's a checklist for the person being evaluated.
right. So if they wanna go from a 3 to a 4,
These are what we have identified as the qualities that we want our employees to excel in.
right,
And therefore, if you do this, this, and this, and this, that you put yourself in a good position for possible other things. So,
okay,
good stuff.
all right, we'll make those changes.
Thanks,
Okay.
Trish. Great job.
thank you.
thanks.
Anything, we've got bi-weekly, is there anything else regarding that policy that we wanna discuss?
We'll make the changes and bring it back.
Okay.
No, I didn't have anything else.
Okay. And then with regards to bi-weekly,
The bi-weekly would be on page 47.
any questions?
Yeah, I had one question on number 19. How was a child incorrectly removed from the health insurance? They do a change form in or somebody put a,
No, they went by age and they didn't look at the circumstances of the child, of the individual, which is, has some extra needs.
okay.
So the person should not have been removed, so.
And the insurance company did that?
They did automatically because of
Okay,
age.
so-
Yeah, it's an
And normally I
automatic thing.
get an email that says, we're removing this individual, so
Alert,
that I
yeah.
can check it to make sure that before the employee gets something that scares them, that their subordinate or their dependent has been removed, and that didn't happen this time. It was just because the age automatically kicked the individual out, and this person happens to have extra needs, so it should have been kept on the insurance, so,
Okay.
yeah.
On number 12, was it just a courtesy review, or are we back? Are we doing something else for Xenia Township again?
No, they actually sent that to us, and it was a very interesting read that we will probably be using in our future, so.
It was a ruling on an arbitration case they had.
Gotcha.
Very good. Anything else?
No other
HR?
questions? Thank
Thank
you.
you.
All right, thank you.
Good job, thanks, Trish.
Zoning.
Thank you, Board. On page 49 begins the biweekly report for the zoning department. Are there any questions?
I had a couple, or if you don't mind stepping up. Thank you. So with regards to the nuisance notification that we went
We're
through-
still working on that. There's a
Okay.
process. This is the first one we've really taken this far.
I didn't know if we got any quick reaction.
No,
from the
no. In fact,
developer.
I still have not heard anything from
Okay.
from him.
Okay.
No phone call, no nothing. Yeah.
That's odd. Yeah, that's odd, just only from the fact that he's actively building in the neighborhood.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. So, and then we're working on the process for following through as far as, how to handle, when to notify someone. Yeah, and has Ed had a chance to talk with you yet? Okay.
Okay.
We were working on that before he went on leave, so I wasn't sure how far you got. But yeah, I'm staying on him.
Good. Okay. I just was hopeful that they had responded.
No, and I checked back to see if
Right.
anything's changed, and unfortunately, it hasn't, so.
Okay. And what is our timeline then, as far as how much time do we allow to lapse? One good windstorm and we have a problem.
So there's nothing that states in the code or resolution that says your time frame. So we will do our due diligence to follow up with them. If the contractor, or excuse me, the developer doesn't respond back, then we will have to then look at mitigating it, which would be hiring, tree trimmer or staff cutting grass, and then we would assess that on their tax evaluation.
And they have to be notified a week, I believe, prior to mitigating the.
Yeah, I remember, we just looked at that.
Yeah, we just looked at, I think they have to receive notification at least 7 days prior,
They're
Okay.
certified mailing.
yeah, to the mitigation efforts, so.
Okay. There is, at least in the world I came from, there is in other areas, in the commercial area, there's at least an urban legend that you only have to mow back either 15 or 30 feet to the edge of the right of way, that you don't need to mow beyond that.
The problem with those lots, I think you
Is
saw
that
from the
only in an ag-
pictures,
is that in
yeah.
ag zoning?
I'm sorry?
Does that apply only to agricultural, or does that?
I
apply-
don't remember seeing that
No, I-
anywhere.
That's an urban myth.
That's an urban myth.
It's an urban myth,
Because
okay.
you see it, you see it happen, they'll mow
I think
back.
it's based too on the individual, entity
Mhm.
regulations as well. So
Yeah.
there may be certain entities that say that's all they need to do.
Mhm.
One thing the zoning commission is gonna be taking a look at their next regular meeting is the international property maintenance code. And if they recommend adopting that to the board, then we would have to have a public hearing on it as well.
I'm doing research on some other more local,
Yeah.
like exterior maintenance.
You have to be careful though, because a lot of the local entities have adopted
Yeah.
a code that no longer exists.
Right.
No, this is their own, I mean, they've made it their own. I don't know where it came from originally.
But they originally adopted from a code that no longer exists.
Oh, okay.
And the statute says that you have to adopt them from an existing code.
From an existing code. Well,
So
all
the
this will
current-
get run by you, yeah.
The current
yeah.
version is 2018 on the international
The
property
international
maintenance. So
exists.
Yeah.
what we have to be careful of in draft language the zoning commission will have to recommend to the board is whether we review that every year to make sure we're working on the current version. There are some townships, I think that, like Ms. Frick just mentioned, that they're working off a 2006 version of the code.
Sure.
And obviously there's been several revisions since then, so we.
And then to address your question about the urban myth about cutting in 15 feet, I would actually really not have much of a problem with that as long as it's consistent all the way around the lot where it's on the roadway. The problem is we're getting ground growth, it's not even weeds, it's just
Right.
stuff that's invaded, tall, and it's in between. You'll have a nice house here, a nice house here, and you'll have this vacant lot with all of this overgrowth. There's kids that come out to play. My concern is something's going to take up residence in there, build a nest, something, and a kid's gonna go chasing a ball or something that goes into this high area, and something's going to bite them, hurt them.
Sure.
I'm just really, I want to keep it as low as I can. And I feel up to the tree line would be reasonable. I don't expect them to cut in between the trees necessarily, but just keep that ground growth cleared out of the way, because for me, it's a safety
Yeah, I
aspect.
think the challenge is to keep it from being subjective and make sure that it's a standard that
Absolutely.
everyone can understand.
In fact, I over in Arlington, one of the lots that I had a question about didn't belong to the developer. I got hold of the owner and we met out there and we had a nice chat, and they complied. They said they had no problem.
Sure,
Once I expressed my concerns, my safety concerns.
good.
Had a very nice discussion with them.
That's good.
Anything else zoning wise? Thanks, Lori.
Thank you, Board. On page 55 is a purchase request for 8 multifunction printers. This is another one where we could have purchased them throughout the year, but by bringing them all at once for the total project. Also, we received discount by buying it in bulk. Budget justification starts on page 55 with motions on 56 and 57. These are printers are also recommended and by Back to Business IT.
And so it's a bulk purchase with a bulk delivery and then a bulk install?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, just so we don't have 6 of them sitting on a shelf and burning up 6 months of warranty
Yeah,
before we
right.
use them.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it'll all be installed at the same time, so.
Yeah, as soon as we receive them, it's connecting to our network and putting the information in, which would be like if you use scanning feature, I can scan directly from my office to, for example, the road department.
Great.
And where you had, let's say halves, that's where essentially you're cost allocating?
Correct.
Okay.
So I believe we're going from 10 to 8 printers by combining.
Oh, good.
Very good.
Well, then I make a motion to approve purchase request 08766 to M&J Technologies for 5.5 replacement multifunction printers, fire, in the amount of $10,771.15, and to authorize the township administrator to sign for the board. Keep running, or each one separate?
Each one's empty.
Each one separately, because they're different.
Second.
Ms. Wallace,
Yes.
Mr. Roberts.
Yes.
Mr. Krebs.
Yes.
Make a motion to approve purchase request 08767 to M&J Technologies for 1 replacement multifunction printer for the road department in the amount of $1,958.39, and to authorize the township administrator to sign for the board.
Second.
Mr. Roberts.
Yes.
Ms. Wallace,
Yes.
Mr. Krebs.
Yes.
I make a motion to approve purchase request 08770 to M&J Technologies for 1/2 replacement multifunction printer zoning in the amount of $979.19, and to authorize the township administrator to sign for the board.
Second.
Ms. Wallace.
Yes.
Mr. Roberts.
Yes.
Mr. Krebs.
Yes.
Make a motion to approve purchase request 08771 to M&J Technologies for 1 replacement multifunction printer for the administrator's HR's human resources area in the amount of $1,958.39, and to authorize the township administrator to sign for the board.
Second.
Mr. Roberts.
Yes.
Ms. Wallace.
Yes.
Mr. Krebs.
Yes.
I make a motion to approve purchase request 08772 to Back to Business IT for printer installation and configuration services, fire, in the amount of $1,590.39, and to authorize the township administrator to sign for the board.
Second.
Ms. Wallace.
Yes.
Mr. Roberts.
Yes.
Mr. Krebs.
Yes.
Make a motion to approve purchase request 08773 to Back to Business IT for printer installation and configuration services for general in the amount of $289.16, and to authorize the township administrator to sign for the board.
Second.
Mr. Roberts?
Yes.
Ms. Wallace?
Yes.
Mr. Kretz?
Yes.
I make a motion to approve purchase request 08774 to Back to Business IT for printer installation and configuration services road in the amount of $185.89, and to authorize the township administrator to sign for the board.
Second.
Ms. Wallace?
Yes.
Mr. Roberts?
Yes.
Mr. Kretz?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Board. The next item is on page 67, is the biweekly report for the IT department. Are there any questions?
They're all signed.
They're all signed.
Any questions on the IT report?
I had none.
I had none.
Move on to roads.
Thank you, Board. First item is to purchase equipment in the sheriff's cruiser. Budget justification starts on page 70. This will be the equipment that's going into the new cruiser, with some being pulled out of the old cruiser that will eventually go on top of this. Mr. Parks is here to answer any questions.
Alex, did you want this one back? The new hire for zoning?
No, that's
Pass it on.
something we can do.
I don't have any questions, Mr. Parks.
Alright, seeing no questions, I'll make a motion to approve purchase request 09319 to Safety Systems for miscellaneous equipment in the amount of $3,986, and to authorize the township administrator to sign for the board.
Second.
Mr. Roberts?
Yes.
Ms. Wallace?
Yes.
Mr. Kretz?
Yes.
I make a motion to approve purchase request 09320 to Sierra Wireless for a mobile modem in an amount of $2,659, and to authorize the township administrator to sign for the board.
Second.
Ms. Wallace?
Yes.
Mr. Roberts?
Yes.
Mr. Kretz?
Yes.
Make a motion to approve purchase request 09321 to KE Rose for installation of equipment in the amount of $2,275, and authorize the township administrator to sign for the board.
Second.
Mr. Roberts?
Yes.
Ms. Wallace?
Yes.
Mr. Kretz?
Yes.
I make a motion to approve purchase request 09322 to Danco Lettering for the striping of the new sheriff vehicle in the amount of $421, and to authorize the township administrator to sign for the board.
Second.
Ms. Wallace?
Yes.
Mr. Roberts?
Yes.
Mr. Kretz?
Abstain.
Make a motion to approve purchase request 09323 to Stop Stick Limited for a set of stop sticks for the new sheriff vehicle in the amount of $465, and to authorize the township administrator to sign for the board.
Second.
Mr. Roberts?
Yes.
Ms. Wallace?
Yes.
Mr. Kretz?
Yes.
Thank you, Board. The next item is on page 77, it's the road department's biweekly report. Are there any questions?
Which one is it?
You abstained.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That's what I was
Sorry.
thinking, yeah.
Just dropped my name out.
I did not have any questions to Mr. Parks on his report.
Neither did I.
Thanks for all your efforts.
Thanks, Mr. Parks.
Thank you, Board. Next item will be moved to the end, would be the hiring of the firefighters. We will take a break and reconvene with the families and auxiliary to hire 2 firefighters. Item after that is request permission to purchase fire gear and uniforms for the firefighters. Fire chief is here to answer any questions.
So if we don't hire 2 guys later today, we probably don't need all 4 sets of gear. So I'm going to go out on a limb and hope that that won't have any issues, and still ask for the 4 sets. But we could also delay that till after the hiring if you'd prefer.
I don't have any problem.
I have no issue.
Hmm.
Yeah. I know.
I
Only if
appreciate
you have
it, but
an
I just want to make
So
sure.
long, so long as they are here, I will vote to hire them. We've had that once before.
Yes, we have.
Or they didn't
Yes.
show?
For
Somebody
one
didn't?
who
Yeah.
chose not to come,
Okay.
so,
That made it easy.
yep.
There are two motions on, page 8.
I make a motion to approve purchase request 09501 to Phoenix Safety Outfitters for the 4 sets of fire gear in the amount of $14,000 and to authorize the township administrator to sign for the board.
Second.
Ms. Wallace?
Yes.
Mr. Roberts?
Yes.
Mr. Krebs?
Yes.
Make a motion to approve purchase request 09502 to A. David Company for 4 Class A uniforms in the amount of $2,158.40 and to authorize the township administrator to sign for the board.
Second.
Mr. Roberts?
Yes.
Ms. Wallace?
Yes.
Mr. Krebs?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Board. And just to give you a heads up, one of the things we're gonna look to change for future hirings is at the time we hire, to have the complete cost of outfitting the individual at that time, so that we can basically do a hire and the outfitting of the person, whether it's a new position or a replacement position, so that we don't end up with this kind of double or triple coming back to you for pieces related to that thing.
Okay.
Good.
Great. Any questions for Chief on bi-weekly report?
Board, just to point out one thing, that board took action on the donation last meeting of the picnic table.
Mhm.
It was on the front page of the
It was.
Beavercreek Courier.
Again, just commend all the public outreach you've got going on, Chief. I love seeing it every meeting. Keep it up.
We'll try and stay busy.
Been busy here lately.
Any
Yes.
other questions for Chief?
I had no questions.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Ms. Frick?
Nothing.
And Ms. Aaron's is excused today. And so MVRPC, any
We have.
awareness?
Did not have a meeting.
And did the TAC committee meet?
Yes, TAC meeting met. It was, since Mr. Amram couldn't be here for the meeting today, he
Sure.
did put the agenda
Yep, I saw that.
and what they discussed in the
Good.
packet.
Okay. Greene County Regional Planning, I don't think they've met.
Tomorrow night.
Yep, since. Health Department,
It's
no
one
update there.
annual.
Yep. Schools, City Manager,
I will be meeting with the city manager this week, and I'm gonna set up a meeting soon with the superintendent, start talking about potential agenda items for our joint meeting
okay,
in September.
okay. I saw that they have scheduled at least a vote this evening.
I did see that on
So
the
with
agenda.
regards to dispensaries, so they're gonna grandfather in the one that's there, so, okay. The Air Force Right Pat Restoration Advisory Board,
Should be sometime this fall.
okay. And Greene County Township Association,
I had requested that we put that on the agenda because they did have some things that came out at the Greene County Township Association meeting couple weeks ago. One was that we had approved, for a resolution for the $5 license fee. And, the county, engineer was there and said that the $5 license fee, if it's increased, would go to the county and would only apply to, the county, deciding where the extra money would go to. I'd like to discuss the opportunity to, see if we can get the county to devise, if this license fee increase goes into place, that they design a committee that would be represented by the larger cities and townships in Greene County to vote, on some of the projects, so that the projects are only, decided by one person in the county. I think that the townships and the cities should have some say as to some of the special projects that this extra money would bring.
yeah.
So I'd like to bring that up in front, when we have either separately with our administrators saying something to the county, or bring it up to county when we have a joint meeting of some sort.
No, it's a good point. I think the elected officials at the county should observe the request of the elected officials at each local community. And if our letter, which I recall, went as far as in support of that, we stated that we were in support of it as so long as those funds that were collected in the township came back to the township as far as
Correct.
projects.
And
And so if the elected officials at the county level want to decide and essentially play Robin Hood, then I think that's wrong.
that's what the engineer, actually came up and touted that it was his money to go to his decision on where he decided it to go.
Yeah.
And I took offense to that. The other thing that was discussed at the County Township Administrative meeting was that there's a House Bill 245 that has authority over intrastate liquids and propane, and part of that bill does actually come down to the township level, and the township does have a say on some of that transportation, so they asked us to be aware of it and to make sure that we are knowledgeable about what process we have and discussion processes that are started. So I wanted to make sure that we took note of those points in that meeting. That's all I have for that.
One thing, Board, I'll check with the county administrator to see if the county commissioners are taking any action on the license fee. Last time we discussed this, he did not feel that the commissioners were gonna move on this, especially receiving from two of the larger townships in the county a request that the money comes back to where it was collected.
Yeah,
I'm
I
sure
think,
they
yeah, it's a
can-
slippery slope, I think, to take that and then dole it out somewhere else. It happens every day, I get it, but, especially when there's a specific request.
Sure, I'll check with the administrator, see if there's any action.
Yeah, I have no problem going to a commission meeting, and I would think Ms. Wallace would probably go on, and Mr. Roberts might as well, just at least reread our letter to them so they understand exactly what we asked for.
And I think the nature of the declaration at the meeting was pretty severe in that it was, instead of saying that I'm the engineer and I work for the county, it was stated that this is my money going to my department for my choice on what roads or projects
Sure.
would be funded. And I just felt that that was a little bit too rash.
The message versus the messenger.
Correct.
Anything, as far as Investment Oversight Committee, I'll defer those questions to Ms. Aarons when she returns, so. Okay. Is there anything else to come before the board? Anything from Mr. Roberts that you had a comment on before we go into executive session?
No, that's my questions, Darby.
Okay, Ms.
Thank you.
Wallace, did you have anything?
No, I had
else?
no further questions.
Okay, at this
Thank you.
time, I'll accept a motion to go into executive session under Ohio Revised Code, Section 121.22 G1, to consider the compensation of a public employee. Under Ohio Revised Code, Section 121.22 G3, conferences with an attorney for the public body concerning disputes involving the public body that are the subject of pending or imminent court action. And under Ohio Revised Code, Section 121.22 G4, preparing for, conducting, or reviewing negotiations or bargaining sessions with public employees concerning their compensation or other terms and conditions of their employment.
So moved.
Second,
Ms. Wallace,
Yes.
Mr. Roberts,
yes.
Mr. Krebs.
Yes. Okay, it is 3:10 PM, and we're gonna come back into section. Do we have a motion to come out of executive session?
So moved.
Second?
Mr. Roberts?
Yes.
Ms. Wallace?
Yes.
Mr. Krebs?
Yes. And we will go ahead and we will continue this meeting at 4 o'clock this afternoon. So we will not adjourn. We're gonna continue.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. Today is Monday, July 23rd, 2018, and we are going to come out of our recess and reopen our regular meeting that we were working through earlier. And we have one more matter of unfinished business, and that is we have two gentlemen that want to join us as career firefighters. And so we're pleased to have you and your families and your whole team that's going to be behind you soon as well. And please know, as we work through this process, that this board, while we may not always agree on everything, that this board does have your interests and your safety and your family's interest at our heart. So with that, I'll turn it over to the chief.
Well, thank you, sir. Since this is a continuation of our agenda item from earlier, if we could start with the resolution to hire, and then I will have an introduction and the oaths for the two candidates.
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna pass the gavel to Mr. Roberts, and I'll make a motion that we accept the following resolution. This is a resolution hiring 2 career firefighters. Whereas Ohio Revised Code, well, this is small print.
It's
Whereas Ohio
Times New
Revised
Roman
Code,
10, so.
requires the Board of Trustees in each township with a fire department to provide for the employment of firefighters as it considers best. And whereas Ohio Revised Code whereas resolutions passed by the board on August 14th, 2017 authorized a staffing level of 12 lieutenants and 48 sworn firefighters, whereas the fire department is currently only staffed with 11 lieutenants and 47 sworn firefighters, and whereas the fire department has promotional exam scheduled for October of this year, 2018, in accordance with the collective bargaining agreement, which should result in the promotion of a firefighter to the rank of lieutenant. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Beavercreek Township Trustees hereby hire the following individuals as full-time sworn firefighter paramedics with contractual years of service beginning on July 23rd, 2018 at the prescribed rate of pay and benefits in accordance with the Beavercreek Professional Firefighters Collective Bargaining Agreement. Mr. Lester Scott Addis and Mr. Christopher Dale Gilson. Further be it resolved that any transferred service credit in accordance with Article 31 of the current collective bargaining agreement does not count as years of service for the calculation of Article 12, Section 7, longevity. And further be it resolved that all formal action of the Board of Trustees concerning and relating to the adoption of this resolution are being adopted at a duly called and authorized open meeting of the Board of Trustees on the date set forth above. Such meeting being duly called pursuant to and in compliance with all legal requirements, including Section 121.22 of the Ohio Revised Code.
I will consider the resolution so moved.
Second.
Mr. Kretz?
Yes.
Ms. Wallace?
Yes.
Mr. Roberts?
Yes.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Take the
Board.
gavel back.
And with the successful passage of the resolution, it's my honor to recommend hiring to the position of career firefighter 2 individuals who demonstrate this knowledge and skills that exemplify the professionalism and pride of the Beavercreek Township Fire Department and our commitment to the citizens of Beavercreek. The position of firefighter is one rich in tradition, pride, and honor, not only in the fire service, but in society as a whole. The firefighter is a role model and the one others turn to in time of crisis. Here in Beavercreek Township, we expect our firefighters to be among the best trained and highly proficient professionals serving the members of our community with integrity, pride, and compassion. Our firefighters are most often the first impression we make as an organization. Therefore, we do not take lightly the responsibility we hold with a 25 to 30-year commitment to the community, the fire department, or the individual hired as a career firefighter. First, I'm recommending to you today that Scott Addis be hired to the position of career firefighter. Mr. Addis is from Springfield, Ohio, where he currently serves with Springfield Fire Division. He has been with the Springfield Fire Division for a little over 19 years as a firefighter, paramedic, and fire instructor. During his time with Springfield, he received training and served with the Hazardous Incident Response Team, Clark County's Hazmat Team, and as an aircraft rescue firefighter. His firefighter levels 1 and 2 certifications were received at the Ohio Fire Academy, paramedic certification from Clark State, and aircraft rescue firefighter at the ARFF training facility at Bluegrass Airport in Lexington, Kentucky. Scott is married and has a 7-year-old boy, twin girls, and a 3-year-old son. He is excited for this opportunity to serve the community of Beavercreek Township.
Great.
And with that, if you'd administer the oath, please.
Yep. And I'm going to defer that to Miss Wallace. She's going to swear you in. If you want to join her up with the flag.
Certificate of hiring, Beavercreek Township Fire Department full-time firefighter. I hereby certify that we have on this date hired Lester Scott Addis to the position of full-time firefighter for the Beavercreek Township Fire Department. Said appointment is to take effect July 23rd, 2018. I, Lester Scott Addis, being duly sworn, say that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Ohio and will faithfully discharge the duties of firefighter
faithfully discharge the duties of firefighter
of the Beavercreek Township Fire Department, Greene County.
of the Beavercreek Township Fire Department, Greene County.
We've got one more form here we need you to sign. I don't think she can.
No, we'll get them to.
We'll get the signature from her.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Actually, we'll have, do you have everything you need?
For payroll,
Okay,
yep.
we'll have your wife give you your badge. So you wanna come up here, we'll get some pictures too. while we do this. In front of the flag. We won't make you step through that. Thank you, Board. Also today, we're recommending that we hire Chris Gilson to the position of career firefighter. Chris has been in the fire service for a little over 20 years, beginning his career in the city of Trotwood. He started there as a volunteer and then transitioned to a part-time position, eventually becoming a full-time employee before being promoted to position of lieutenant. After serving that community for 19 years, he was hired by the city of Clayton as a full-time firefighter. Chris currently holds the certifications of Level 2 firefighter, paramedic, fire safety inspector, fire service instructor, live fire instructor, fire officer 1 and 2, incident safety officer, and fire protection license through the State of Ohio Fire Marshal. He has recently completed his Associate's of Science degree in Fire Science through Columbia Southern University and is currently working towards his bachelor's degree in Fire Science Administration with a concentration in fire investigation. Chris's hobbies include spending time outdoors and traveling to explore different cultures. He enjoys spending time with his immediate family and work family. He's excited for the opportunity provided to him by the Beavercreek Township Fire Department and looks forward to serving this community. And with that, I'd ask to administer the oath, please.
Well, Christopher, you've already got your date hired, done by resolution, so now it's gonna be my high grade honor to read your oath of office. So if you would raise your right hand, please. I, Christopher Dale Gilson, being duly sworn, say that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Ohio, and will faithfully discharge the duties of firefighter of the Beavercreek Township Fire Department in Greene County. The Beavercreek Township Fire Department. Congratulations and welcome to the Need that wide angle? There you go. Christopher. You can just sign right there, sir. Thank you.
If you have your wife and son join you up here. Thank you. And actually, we'll be asking you guys to come up for a whole bunch more pictures in a minute, but our formal business is done, so I'd like to thank the board for your time today and then ask if you join us for some photos afterwards.
Absolutely. Again, thanks for choosing to come with us and Beavercreek Township. The residents of both the city of Beavercreek and the unincorporated portion in the township, they rely on you. And so this department serves and does a fantastic service to the community. The community has always supported this department as well, and we look forward to continuing that with your help. So thank you. So, any other business to come before the board?
No, sir.
With that, I will accept a motion to adjourn.
So moved?
Second.
Ms. Wallace?
Yes.
Mr. Roberts?
Yes.
Mr. Kretz?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Please
board.
join us. Thank you.
411.